Welcome to Sassafras Valley. Sure, I'm glad you joined me again. This is part 2 of the videos I put together on repairing a broken putter. Just as a reminder, in the first video, my son-in-law had a Ping Specify putter, and it was custom made with a plastic weight on the back of it. They no longer make the putter, so when he broke that plastic weight off the back, the putter was pretty much useless. So I decided I was going to go ahead and see if I couldn't put it back into service by making a new rear weight out of wood. And about the time that he gave me that putter, he also gave me some firewood that came out of a pear tree that died in his yard. This is a rifler file. It's made just for this purpose, to make slots, narrow slots. Over a year ago, I cut that wood up and set it up to dry, and my buddy Pedro, he kept watch over it. At some point last month, it'd been about a year, I took that wood down, and it seemed like it was dry enough to finally do something with it. So I went ahead and cut out a couple of blanks and sanded them down and fitted them into the club head. And the video's getting kind of long, so I cut it off right there. And well, this video, I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and you'll get to see what it looked like when I got it all finished. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stain this club cover here, but probably ought to get it mixed up and get it the right color before I put it on. It's a lot easier doing that than it is to. So I got some test stuff here. This is water soluble. I think you can mix it with alcohol. Not been real. That's a gracious plenty, I think. Not been real successful with the alcohol for some reason. Maybe because it's old. This is from, say, 2000, I think. Yeah, January of 2000. So it may be why it doesn't want to mix up. But anyway, it'll mix up with water okay. Try to use pure water. The tap water I have is pretty hard. See how that looks. Well, I think something kind of like this is what I was looking for. I think I'm going to hazard just a shot at getting this part done. Find a clean place on the rag. I'll go with this end here. Start on the bottom. Not too bad. There. You can see a little bit of the grain in there. Well, I think it's kind of like what I was looking for. Make the heel of it just a little darker there, and we'll give that a little bit of a highlight. I think something like that's kind of what I was looking for. So let me set that over there. We'll let it dry up. And like I said, I'll have to come back and give it a light sanding because it's going to raise the grain. But we'll see. Probably ought to go ahead and let it have about a day to dry since it's water. And then we'll go to the next step. Well, I'm using gloss 2X Rust-Oleum clear. I want to get a coat on it. I want to put a light coat on it to start with. Then I'll sand it. And then I'll put a couple more light coats on it. But I want to make sure I coat the back so that it doesn't absorb moisture. If it happens to be damp and they're putting and they get it outside, that they can get water in behind it. So I'll coat the whole thing, but I want to get the back end of it real good first. That'll be all I put on it this time. That should do it. So that's the start. I'll probably put about 4 coats on it. I'll let you see what it looks like after it's all finished. Well, that's the final coat of paint. So while that's drying, let's go replace the grip on that golf club. Well, here's the old grip. And you can see it's pretty old, weathered, slick, hard to hold on to. It is the one that originally came on it. And they're still available. you can get the exact same grip today, but they tend to not be as good as the second generation of grips. Since I'm not restoring this to its original Ping specifications, I'm going to replace it with the newer generation. It's called a new Ping with the black Ping Man for a mid-size. They also have an enlarged, but I chose the mid-size because it is traditional grip. And it's got a little dusty here. As you can see, it attracts dust to it, which is also means it's also going to attract your hands so it won't slip, especially in the rain. But anyway, I'm going to take the old grip off and put the new grip on. So some of the things you're going to need are, let's see. Maybe not. Gloves and a rag and odorless, well, mineral spirits. They don't have to be odorless. I just prefer it. But anyway, going to, oh, I need something else. Let me go grab it. You'll notice on the handle that it has a flat. It's rounded on the back and flat here on the front, okay? You want that to be exactly perpendicular to the club face. When it's put on, you want that perfectly aligned with that club face. You don't want it twisted to the side. You want it aligned because that's your registry for getting the club straight, so that your feel matches your sight whenever you're lining up your putt. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put this into the vise. So that I can hold it. And I'm going to do this backwards at the start, because this will be the thinnest part here to go through. And a lot of clubs, especially if you're doing this on a fiberglass or graphite club, you really don't want to cut into the club shaft itself. So what I like to do is get that opened up just a little bit, just enough that I can take, there, that should be okay, so that I can take a pair of scissors and get underneath there and snip it off. Okay? Let me open them up so I don't accidentally jab it into my hand, but I'm going to try to get those pushed up in there. And I may have to go flat with it to start. Get it up in there. And snip it. Okay? I pushed the wrong one in. Let me try it over. I think it'll help if I dip those in the liquid. Get some of the mineral spirits on it. If I can get it up under there again now that I got it open. And just shove it up in there. And the farther you go up the club, the thicker it gets. Yeah, it popped out. Usually, once you get them up about this far, you can strip them off. It's not going to work, so what I'll do is as I pull, I'll cut. Cut shallow. Give it a weak place so it'll tear. And now it's off. Yep, my workbench moved just a little bit. Let me push it back over there. Okay. So now I'm going to take this old tape off. Okay, so I really want to get the residue off there, and this mineral spirits will work pretty good. There's the old cover. So that's not bad there. That'll work. Well, with the shaft clean, I'm going to go ahead and put a mark on it right where the bottom of the club cover was. And on this club, there happens to be some scratches right there. So I'm going to put a mark right there, which is where the bottom of the club ought to be. Now that's going to wipe off as soon as I put mineral spirits on it, but it'll be there for another purpose. So let me put this in the vise, and this time I'm going to put it with the flat face orientation up, okay? And what I want to do is take my combination square with the level on it. I'm going to just use this face here to make sure that it is perpendicular to the ground. That is pretty good. Okay. So now, with that mark right there, I can put the regripping tape on it, okay? I've heard people use duct tape, double-sided tape, adhesive tape. They work, but this is made just for that, so it has the self-adhesive side on it. Okay. And I'll start about 1/8 of an inch above where I want it to finish. That'll help hold that down rather well. Okay. Okay. And you have to make sure that what you use is long enough to stick over the top. I like to have about 1/2 inch or so. So what I'll do, take a second strip, cut it to length. Just call that 1/2 inch. Might be 3/4. Don't matter, you just gotta have plenty. Okay. And add on to tape that I already have. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, with that in place, we're ready to start putting the grip back on. Now, let's prepare this. The way this is made is it has a solvent activated tape adhesive on this outside. I kind of cheat just a little because I can, and I don't want to waste a lot of the and make a real big mess. So I take an old drink bottle, put me a little bit of the thinner in here. And I'm just going to wet this along here, okay? That'll activate that adhesive. But then you take your club head, your club handle, and you put enough in there that it'll get coated. I don't have any dripping out, so that's enough. This does have a hole in the end of it. So now what I want to do is I want to slip that on. And the reason you want this is because the ends of these clubs are very sharp and they'll nick this. If they do that, they'll split open on you. So you leave that long to kind of cushion it. And then you work it on. Trying to keep it as close to straight as you can as you move it on there. Okay, so with that done, I'm ready to set it straight. I'm going to get my bearings again. Okay, so now I need to find a place on there where it matches. You have about 5 minutes or so before this sets up. Just a touch too far. That is pretty straight. And it's fairly perpendicular to the blade. It's pretty close. So it came up just a little short of the old one. And what I'll do is I'll let that dry, and then I can take my thinner and I can, my solvent, and I can clean that all off. But anyway, that gets the grip on there. As you can see, it's pretty perpendicular to the club face down there. And that's how I regrip them. Don't know if that's how everyone does it or if it's even exactly right, but I've got grips that have been on for years and replaced them, put new ones on, and they've been on there for years, so that way works for me. Okay, well, I'm going to do a final assembly here. Got some Loctite. This is the removable Loctite. Help hold them screws in there. That'll be gracious plenty, all right. Didn't expect that. Well, let's see if I can get that out of there. Okay, so that one has Loctite in the nut. And this one has it on the screw, so that should be enough to hold it. Only takes a drop on a size screw this size, so. Okay, so let me just snug it down. It's on there pretty straight, it looks like. No wiggle. Okay, screws are flush, below flush. And let's see, no cracks. I am going to wax this, but I want to find I'm anxious to find out whether or not it fits the club cover. Oh yeah. Perfect. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put some wax on this. And I'll wax the shaft also. That'll keep it from rusting any. Better wipe it down first with some, it's got some adhesive on it. I need to wipe it down with some alcohol and wax it, and then it'll be finished. I'll wax it with some Johnson's paste wax. Show you what it looks like afterward. Here's a photo of what that club looked like before it was broken, and I'll throw in a shot here of what it looked like before I started cutting out the club head. And then how it looks now, well, I'll just let you have a look. I do appreciate you watching, and you have nothing less than a wonderful day.